Hello and welcome to Slow Pit Stop, the international Formula One podcast by fans for fans all around the world. My name's Arafat, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Mohammed. So hi, Mohammed.
Hi, Mohammed.
And joining us this week to discuss the Canadian Grand Prix and all things poutine is our favourite Canadian, Adam. Say hi, Adam.
Hi, Mohammed. Bring back Michael Massey. Races shouldn't end under safety cars. Straight to controversy.
I did ask our other Canadian friend if they wanted to join, but they're on call, like a loser.
Okay. All right.
I think at this point,
Happens
Adam is our Canadian friend. Our other Canadian friend hasn't shown herself in years.
Yeah.
I'm angry.
Yeah,
Tragic.
doesn't count.
So this episode, I wrote out a bunch of bullet points on my phone because I thought, let's do a series of questions today. I've not thought of the questions yet, but I've thought of what the questions are about, if that makes sense.
I think
It's
that
meta.
makes sense.
So number 1, the snack question. Number 2, the Norris question. Number 3, the Ferrari question. Number next, the George Russell question. Number next after that, the stewarding question. And then finally, the Charles Leclerc question. Should we get into
I
it?
like these. Yeah.
The Charles
There's not as
Leclerc
much
question
on the
is a
Red Bull as
crazy
I want to
question.
hear, but that was my question.
Yeah, we'll get to it at the end. Calm down.
Okay, yeah, we should for sure. But we need to make sure we get to it though, so it can't be like
Yeah.
end where we accidentally miss it.
That's fine. I'll keep us on time. So number 1,
Okay.
podcast snacks. What are you having today, gentlemen?
Candy Kittens Shock Gourmet Sours.
Oof.
Wow, that
As
looks
a cat
really good.
person, I will eat anything that's cat branded.
That actually looks so good. I have with me a bag. Do you have these in the UK? Frito-Lay's Honey Barbecue Twists, aka
No.
the only and the best kind of
Mm.
Frito-Lay's.
No,
That's
we
two
don't have those.
wonderful toppings in one.
Yeah.
Honey
I
garlic
have-
barbecue? Why not honey barbecue?
I don't even know how to pronounce this, but it's some sort of seaweed snack.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not
No,
going to
it's so
attempt that
good.
one for the
I
first
love
time
seaweed
right
snacks.
now. Yeah, seaweed
How
is such a
excellent.
good flavor. My God.
Fine. Speaking of good flavors and bad taste in our mouth, should we get on to McLaren? I don't think we need to
Yeah.
just dissect the whole race because, like, anybody listening to this has watched the race. So let's talk about Lando Norris and specifically how he ended his Canadian Grand Prix. Mohammed, do you want to talk us through that moment?
Do you remember a couple of races ago I said that Lando Norris is going to either come back stronger, take the lead of the championship and never look back, or he's going to get completely crushed by the anxiety and the stress of trying to win a championship, and Piastri will win it out. Well, I think, boys, we just have our answer right now. So, just as a quick recap, they're going in for the final lap, right at the end, going down the straight. He's actually had a pretty good strategy up to this point. He's caught back up to Oscar despite starting 5 positions below him. And then right when he goes for the overtake, he chooses the inside instead of the outside, crashes into the wall, and that's his race over. But again, it's more about like the decisions he's making under pressure. And you can't help but feel that Lewis or Max would never make a mistake like that. They may still crash doing something aggressive.
I mean, Lewis made that exact same mistake on Jensen Button.
No, but Jensen crashed into Lewis. That was different. That was different because in this
he
case,
squeezed him at the very least.
yeah,
And I
exactly.
think
Jensen
that,
squeezed him.
And if we're following Alonso's law all the time, you have to leave the space. I don't know if Oscar really left a modern.
Well, that
Mm.
rule's gone
car-sized
now.
space.
All the time you don't have to leave space anymore.
But I thought it was
used
over
to be
the
all the time
gentleman's
you have to leave
agreement,
space. Whereas now it's you have to
Yeah.
leave space if you get your ruler out and you measure where their front tire is, and it's
Mhm.
exactly 6.3 millimeters away
Yeah.
from the middle of your car, and this and that. That's why racing's so insane now because
Yeah,
nobody knows.
I'm on Slop It Stop record saying that that Oscar was going to eclipse Lando, and I like him. I think he's probably the nicest Australian I've ever not met.
What did you call
But
our
I don't think
podcast?
that gap size Slop
Call
It
it
Stop.
Slop
I just
Pit
can't
Stop.
help it. I do that with everything, like whatever, like when you have a pediatric hand X-ray, I call it, they want another bonage. If there's any opportunity to do that to a word, I have to do it. So,
God.
Dragonage, fantastic game. So anyway, I just think it wasn't that sporting, the gap he left.
Mm.
Um, so again, like I'm
So
totally on Team Oscar, but Oscar, it's funny. So I was listening to F1 Nation. I think we can mention them because they're the brand name. They're not a real rival. And whoever they had on, I think it was Davide Valsecchi. They were saying like, "Oh, I'm really getting Lewis Hamilton vibes from Oscar and the way he goes racing."
Mm.
That's what Tom Clarkson said. And Davide says, "No, he's Max. Like he doesn't get hot on the radio, but he's the same kind of ruthless." I don't know which one I believe. Maybe he's just his own guy, but there wasn't.
yeah,
Really
I think he's his own thing. I wouldn't compare him to Lewis or Max. He's got his own style about things, his own way of doing things. I think we're all on the same page of where Oscar is compared to Lando. Here's my question for you, Adam. McLaren has a let them race policy.
Yeah.
If you were team boss of McLaren right now, how would you have handled that situation where Lando is coming up to him faster?
Probably just like that. To be honest with you, I think that Andrea Stella said it well in the post race whatever paddock talk. He was like, Lando misjudged this a little bit, but I don't think it was offside. He still was within whatever the papaya rules are. I actually thought it was cool, and
But the papaya rules, you wouldn't have had them swap positions without crashing.
No, I would have let them race, and I think that if Lando had chosen the other side to attempt the pass or have a look and then back out, they would have been fine. So I think this is like a yellow flag, but it's not a red flag event for the team. I think you can still go ahead and say, carry on as always. The championship seems to be between you two, barring some crazy development from Merck or Red Bull. And I'm glad that as far as we can see, there's no backroom discussion with these guys, because I want to see something similar to this again if Wiener.
Mohammed?
Otherwise, what are we
Do you
watching?
agree?
Yeah, I don't think it's like they're not going to have to rework all of their rules. That is interesting that, Adam, you say that you didn't think Oscar left him as much room as maybe he should have. I didn't think about it that way. I don't know. When I was watching it, it just seemed to me like, when you're going down a straight, you have a choice, either left or right, which way you're going to go. But it didn't look like, when you watch the Canadian footage from, they're both Canadian footage. When you watch the footage with Lewis and Jensen, you can see Jensen move over to the left as Lewis is attempting the overtake, and that kind of cuts him off. But here, I don't think you see Oscar do that. I think you see Lando just make the wrong decision in the moment, and that's why I said that this is like a mark of him not being a real champion, at least not yet, is because he makes that wrong decision in the heat of the moment. That's the mistake I don't think you could see Max or Lewis making, is like just a racecraft error. So I saw it more as a racecraft error from Lando, which was a testament of how much under pressure he is to perform and how he's not. I mean, this is the same guy who Lewis Hamilton fans will never forget. He said that Lewis should be winning every race. He has the best car. So that is what's in his mentality. He's like, I should be winning every race.
Fine. Speaking of people making mistakes, Ferrari's performance, how did you think they did this weekend? And what do you think of this news that they're bringing an upgrade to Austria?
Oh, are they? I didn't know that.
I'll let
Why
Mohammed
did we
start.
pick this team? Why did we pick this team? I know Lewis picked this team, but why did we? We should have. It's like there's no good options, right? Red Bull's not having a great season.
No.
McLaren's having an amazing season. But then Ferrari, like Mercedes, like none of the other teams are having good seasons. And it's so frustrating. I don't know. I don't know what to make of Ferrari. They had I don't know. I don't know what to make. This is one of Lewis's best tracks. And he went backwards.
I think he would have done so well, too, if he hadn't hit the groundhog, right?
I think the groundhog killed it. To lose huge amounts of downforce, because this whole like under the car aero regulation, all of that
it's not
stuff.
Even,
I think
like, how do you even? They need to have like little bumpers. I mean, that's probably not a good idea, but they need to have like something on the edge of the road to keep these
stop the wildlife
animals.
getting in.
I know it's. I didn't see a single groundhog when I went to Canada. What?
We keep littering poutine around the track, and all the animals keep coming. We're just snack masters in Canada.
Was there actually poutine at the track? Adam, you went 2 years ago. I went last year. I don't remember poutine being sold.
Absolutely. There was all kinds of amazing stuff, though, because we take cuisine quite seriously. One of the nicest things I saw, because Red Bull media continues to be the best, is like everywhere they go, they just feed Yuki snacks and get him to rate them out of 10. So they gave him Canadian chips, like we have all dressed chips, and he liked them a lot. He ate something else, I can't remember what it was, like some kind of maple syrup thing, and he thought it was too sweet, which I get. I would never elect to eat maple syrup, really. But the thing that, like the Instagram reel, it cut right as he was about to try ketchup chips, and those are so divisive. I really wanted to know what Yuki thinks
Oh
of those.
man, I don't like them.
All dressed are
I
just
can't
amazing.
eat ketchup.
Like,
I can't eat the ketchup chips. Why are they so
they're harsh,
tangy?
right?
Yeah,
they're too tangy.
yeah. But you know what's
all
really
dressed
good
is the sweet spot.
it was, you know what's really good is New York fries, like the restaurant.
Yeah.
We don't have that in New York, but it's very
you
very
don't
good.
have the New York. You don't have Boston pizza because that was invented in like Nova Scotia or something.
Yeah, we don't have Boston pizza, but New York fries are really good, actually.
Yeah, no, the Canadian version of Nestea is the killer. Like, it's so much better than anywhere else in the world. It's just completely formulated.
What are you two talking
Oh
about?
my god. We're talking about the joys and the delights of the exotic
weird food.
Far West.
Sat here being like, right, guys, let's talk about Ferrari, and you two are like,
yeah, but
you
what are
need
we
to
supposed
eat
to
Boston
say about
pizza,
that? It's
which
too
isn't
depressing.
from Boston. Pizza's from Italy, where Ferrari's from. That's real pizza.
Just for this, Arafat, we're bumping the Charlotte question right to the top, okay? I messaged these guys in WhatsApp, okay? Slop it, stop, verse. Listen to me. And I told them, like, lots of people, like, I have some colleagues who are Italian, and so they're obviously quite invested in Ferrari by mandate, except for one who's like a secret Aston Martin guy. Very secret. Won't even mention his name. But, like, the other guys are like, I think that Charles Leclerc has had enough of a chance, and we want someone new, and we want the car built around Hamilton in the next regulations. So let's play it now, okay? Imagine, heaven forbid, perhaps, that Charles Leclerc is booted. Who are you taking?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting thing. I haven't heard anybody on the internet say they want Charles out of the team. I've seen a lot of Charles fans want Fred out of the team, but I think the way Twitter is, you don't have pure tifosi on Twitter. You generally have people who are just fans of a driver on Twitter, so I think that's maybe why I haven't seen that. But it's not a bad point. Charles has had his shot, even though he's like the prodigal child of Ferrari. They put all this money and energy into him. I definitely think the next regulation has to be built around Lewis. Like, you've made this huge step bringing him onto your team. You have to trust his vision and go ahead with it. They have to build it around Lewis. As for who he would partner if no Charles, I think the answer is very clear. I've said it time and time again. It has to be Mick Schumacher.
Oh, I was going to say Bottas.
No, I'm kidding. I almost say Mick Schumacher for these kinds of things.
I was so confused. I was so thrown because I was like, because you were like, I've said it time and time again. I was like, have you? But you know, every time you're like, oh, Arafat, you said on the last episode, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, did I? I have no memory of anything that we talk about. You could literally be like, oh, Arafat, remember last episode you said the only hope for Ferrari is to hire Mick Schumacher. I'd have been like, oh, did I say that? Yeah, I guess I did. Like, I have no memory of what anyone ever says. So when you were like, time and time again, I've said Mick Schumacher, I was like, oh, I really zone out. Like, I missed that.
That's
no, I'm
wild.
kidding.
So
I'm
are you
being
saying
sarcastic.
Bottas, or are you just teasing us?
Yeah,
Sorry?
what do you think, Arafat?
Is anybody
who
really
do you think,
going for
Bottas?
Valtteri, or are you just teasing?
No, genuinely. Like, Bottas
Okay.
is third driver at Mercedes. And I don't think Ferrari's problem is Charles. I think Ferrari's problem is they've not won in a long time. And Nico Rosberg's talking about this. There's structural things, the way they do things. It's a bit like last year when McLaren started winning. They didn't win the drivers because they were outclassed by Red Bull, who didn't have as good a car, but had processes in place on how to win. They knew how to develop, they knew how to have strategy, pit stop, all of these things. Fred Vasseur is talking about this. He's like, yes, people are talking about we need to have upgrades, but upgrades will bring us hundreds. Whereas actually just having good pit stop, good strategy, and executing a good weekend, which we failed to do in Canada, will bring us tenths of second, which is more than any upgrade would.
Yeah.
And I think, my example for all of this of should Charles go, I don't think Charles is the problem. If Charles wants to go, the thing I'm going to talk about is James Vowles. So James Vowles came from a team where he knew how to win. He's come to Williams and said, let's get the fundamentals right. And you see where Williams has gone. Right, this year they've made 3 times as many points as they've done in like the last 3 seasons or something crazy. And they're up in P5. And he's like, the goal is eventually to win. They've given him a new contract. And he's got a roadmap of this is what our processes should be like. And he's like very open. 2026, we're not going to be there, but we need to keep making these steps to get to a point where we're winning. And he's using the McLaren template almost. So I think you need people who know how to win to come and help you set up those boring structures. And Charles Leclerc, because he's always been with Ferrari, he doesn't know those things. Like, I think for Charles to go to a team like Red Bull, like Mercedes, or even Aston Martin, which is trying to recruit like a dream team from everywhere, I think he will learn more. And then as a driver, his like toolkit will be expanded. Ferrari, I think they need stability, but I think getting rid of Fred isn't going to solve any problems. But I think bringing Lewis in is the right thing for them, because he can say, look, at Mercedes, we did this. Yeah. This is how we, planned these things. This is how we debriefed. These are the details that we discussed. That's what Ferrari needs to become winners again.
Yeah.
And I think Charles Leclerc's path to world champion may involve going elsewhere.
I can't believe the last time Ferrari won was Kimi Räikkönen, and the last time McLaren won was Lewis Hamilton. That's crazy, guys. That's so long ago.
Yeah, that is absolutely wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Adam, what do you think about Charles Leclerc? Would you get rid of him?
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of like have the realistic and the unrealistic one. Like, if you took Zhou Guanyu right now, you'd make a lot of money, which would be pretty cool. Giovinazzi never got to be on a top team and is now a Le Mans winner. But I think that if pie in the sky, I would just try to get Kimi Antonelli. I think he'd be like a very cute,
that would be so good. That would be
perfect,
so
and
good.
Italy would just go wild. I think it'd just be so nice.
Oh my god. That would be like trading Luca from the what do you call it?
So here's the deal. I'm gonna give you my my crazy Adam verse. None of this is gonna happen except for the first part, which is definitely gonna happen. So my 100% prediction. I was right about Oscar. I'm putting it all on the line. If Drake, if you're watching, this is where you put your money down, because this is how we lose together. I'm gonna 100% call and be happy to be wrong that Max is going to go into the summer break third in the standings. Contract clause activated, takes George's spot. You heard it here first. All of this Max to Aston
halfway
stuff,
through the season?
Joining no for next year.
Oh.
All of this Aston $1 billion thing's not going to happen. Then what happens is Kimi Antonelli really looks up to Max. They have a great dynamic, and he hopes that, I'm so young, eventually Max going to age out, and then I'll have a chance to win, and it'll be awesome. But it doesn't happen. Max goes on to bore fans, get 8 world titles, just the full 9 yards, and then Kimi Antonelli goes.
I don't
to
like
Ferrari
part of this plan.
I don't like the second half of the story. It gets really sad for me.
I'm trying to get super dramatic here, and then Kimi Antonelli leaves. Who takes Kimi Antonelli's spot?
Mick Schumacher.
Nico Hülkenberg. Ferrari recapitulates the Nico promise. They already fly on the private jet together. He gives him a tow when he can. He's already Max's teammate. The Audi product's going to be terrible. Nico Hülkenberg comes in. You heard it here first.
You started really strong, and then you kind of just went off the rail.
That's real. That's why it started really strong. The rest is not going to happen. But Max to Mercedes is going to happen, and it's going to be, at least for the Schadenfreude cast here, he's going to win in 2026 when that should have been George's title, and then who's not laughing?
Oh my god, I don't know.
Right?
I can't tell. What do I want more?
Yeah, that's a very hard.
Oh my god.
The Kimi Antonelli question, after he sat his school exam this week, after his first ever podium, he was confronted by the Italian media, and I saw him, giving his responses in Italian and things, and I was like, we've got to get this guy into a Ferrari. Like, when Lewis retires or whatever, Kimi Antonelli has to be there.
Like, 100%. That's the only way I could accept Charles not being there, too, because when Charles speaks on the radio in Italian, it's like, okay, this might be the most beautiful language in the world.
Has Mohammed frozen or has he died?
He's died. Because he's trying to decide whether he's like okay with George losing a title if it means Max wins maybe more than one.
It blew his brain.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, man. He returns to the Mercedes Academy.
You can't.
Then what happens to me? Have you guys thought about me? Do I buy a T-shirt? I don't think I could do that.
Oh my god!
Can't somebody think about me?
Are you gonna wear a Mercedes kit? Oh my god!
Like, no, how can I do it?
So
Listen, that can't happen.
Please
rather
let
than
us
going
know
to the
back
F1
on
movie
this.
premiere. So Verstappen, rather than going to the F1 movie premiere, I think Oscar wasn't there either, and about 4 drivers didn't show up. Verstappen was against being Franz Hermann and driving around in a GT car. This time, was it an Aston Martin? Who's driving around Belgium. I think my best case thing for Verstappen is he goes off and like dominates other racing series.
Yes,
that's what I would
away
like
from
for
Formula
him
One.
to do.
Don't put me in these situations that break my brain.
Yeah, so that's the other question I have is, do you think Franz Hermann could be the next Graham Hill? Do you think he could do the Triple Crown?
Yeah, 100%.
God,
I
what a
think
way to
Max would
cement his
Indy,
legacy.
The
would
question
World
mark is
Endurance
Indy. Like,
Championship.
it's impossible.
What a way to
So
cement his
easy
legacy.
to imagine Max winning WEC.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as easy to imagine him winning Indy 500, but nothing's impossible. I'm sure he's simmed an oval like many times.
Why do Formula
Yeah,
One
I think he should
drivers,
go and do it.
Why do F1 drivers not thrive in IndyCar? I don't get it. Is it just 2 different styles of driving? Or we just haven't seen our good drivers get there? Fernando attempted it like 6 times.
He didn't have a steering wheel one year, though. He couldn't take part in qualifying. So they forgot to build a steering wheel.
No, yeah, you could imagine Max in the Empire. Like, somebody might make him a nice car.
Can we take a quick detour? I want to talk about something. The F1 movie premiere happened one day after I left New York City. It happened the next day. And
how do you keep doing this?
I don't know, and I'm very mad. I'm very mad about it. That's number one. And the funny thing is, I was there the night before, and I saw them setting up the lanes next to the stairs in Times Square, where they're going to make the starting grid. And me and my friend were like, I wonder what they're doing. It's probably nothing. That's what it was. But why? They've all dressed up super fancy. Why are none of their clothes tailored? Especially somebody like Charles Leclerc from Monaco, a Monegasque who drives for an Italian team.
Oh, are we doing the workwear, the menswear guy on Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he liked what Lewis was wearing, but didn't know he was a Formula One driver. He's like, all the F1 drivers were dressed poorly except for these 3 men. And the 3 men were like 2 actors and Lewis Hamilton.
It's so true. I mean, like, Yuki went for something, but
Yuki was dressed well.
Yeah, he was trying.
None of it is fitting well. It's all ill-fitting. I don't know.
Yeah, but Yuki's is deliberately oversized.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God,
Charles's was really bad to the point where I noticed. Like, I don't care, but I noticed.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here, guys.
The best thing I think I saw was like Alex Albon. I think was managed.
He wasn't bad. I think Alex wasn't bad.
Not incredible.
Yeah, Gasly.
This is incredible. We need to. Podcast Next doesn't get enough drink tribute. This is Gasosa, which is like a Sicilian lemon soda.
You know, I used to call myself a drink connoisseur.
Is tied for first as the best soda in the world. Like, this stuff is unreal.
I used to call myself a drink connoisseur
so happy for you.
Until I met Adam. Adam is a true drinks connoisseur.
Yeah,
I'm
here with my Asda Cola.
I've got water I'm drinking, and he's got like this artisanal Italian soda from the glaciers of Milan.
The glaciers of Milan. God. Where were we? Yeah, the Russell question. We talked about Russell. None of us like him. Do you know what my biggest beef with Russell is? That we used to like him. At Williams.
Oh,
yeah,
at
really
Williams.
did.
Remember when he cried when he got his first points, and I was like, oh, the little boy, he's done so well. And then something happened. And I keep talking about this analogy of, you know, that there's that friend that you have that's really cool, and then you all like split up for summer break, and when you get back together, that one friend has changed. It's really weird now. That's George Russell, and I think that's what makes it hard. Some people weird from the beginning. I don't know what's his name, Mazepin, and you're like, this is just you. We don't like you, and that's fine. But I think the thing that is really irritating about Russell is we used to really, really like him, and I can't remember which one. One of you sent me this tweet or something someone wrote that just summed up George Russell, and it was, Russell is that kid at school that reminds a teacher they forgot to give you homework.
Yeah.
And I'll let Adam talk about the stewarding. But the whole thing of him being like, oh, Max has gone ahead of me. And then Max being like, oh, this has happened. And all of them squabbling and being so petty. And I hated the whole thing. None of them got penalties or anything. There was a bit of me that's like, all of them should have got penalties. All of them should have had 1 million penalties so that this whole thing... And, he's going around the whole weekend, George Russell, being like, oh, Max has only got 1 point left. Oh, he's got to be careful. And it's like, it's not a real thing. Like, I know Max has a lot of points, but they're so difficult to get. For George to be like, oh, I can take bigger risk because he's only got 1 point left. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, come on, get out of here. That was so rude. And
it was so weird.
The shenanigans at the front of the pack when he slams on the brakes and Max passes
so
him.
Stupid, so bad.
Get out
so
of here,
bad.
man.
I hated it so much.
I almost feel like
God.
he should have lost the win, and they maybe didn't do it because he.
Oh my God! Imagine they gave him a 5-second penalty.
It would have been too much for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, what I wanted actually was in Spain, the way that the safety car coming in unfolded with Charles barging Max off the road, and then George doing the same thing to him into turn 1. They both should have got 5-second penalties, which would have given us our first Hülkenberg podium. What's not to like?
Oh, that would have been good. I was thinking,
if
everybody
liked
Max
that
got a penalty for overtaking Russell, and Russell got a penalty for erratic driving, we would have got our first Kimi win.
Ooh.
No, that would have been very cool.
I was thinking
that's inevitable, so I'll take the Hulk one.
I was thinking if everyone from 1st to 6th somehow crashed into each other, Lewis would have won the race.
Yeah, that would have been better. I would have taken that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Why are the stewards crazy? Derek Warwick wasn't allowed to be a steward this weekend because
I didn't even see his message or his thing that he said.
Okay, man, this dude. First of all, at some point in time, he says on the record, wouldn't it be awesome if Lando won? Just say that in private, you Dumbo. And then after that, I guess if you're this kind of guy, you're this kind of guy. So these things will come in multiples. Then he gets caught talking to a gambling site. The way you got it, right? Who was the one, Johnny Herbert, before that?
Yeah.
Paddy
why
Power
are we all
or something.
embroiled with gambling sites?
It's so weird.
He's the same guy that said Max Verstappen is the great white hope to take down Lewis Hamilton. A very poor choice of words.
Dude, come on.
God, these people. Honestly. He owns a Honda dealership now, doesn't he? Next time you're going to buy a Honda, Adam, you should travel to wherever his garage is and go check in on them.
You can't win, man. You just absolutely can't win. And the before we move on from this stuff, I do want to say one nice thing, and I got to credit this to Chris. Chris, you said you'd be watching this. It was the guy I just spoke with for a full hour, switching over my mobile provider to another mobile provider. So he's going to email me. I told him about the podcast. We literally talked 50 minutes about F1 and then 10 minutes to switch my contract. And he pointed out that former teammates Kubica and Russell both won on the same day. So that was
yeah. I saw that on the internet. Very nice.
Brief moment for Kubica, amazing guy. As a Ukrainian Canadian, we've never felt closer to the polls in these troubled times. And I just think he's awesome, and I love this redemption.
Kubica deserves all the good stuff in this world. George Russell
100%.
deserves none of it.
Yep.
George deserves 0.
His same team, a Ferrari customer team, had the first ever Chinese Le Mans winner, and then some random English guy. No shade, I just don't know who he is.
Yeah. Great work from... What's all this chat about the Ferrari guy, the Ferrari team principal of the WEC team moving over to the F1 team? At some points, I'm like, yes,
they want
just
Fred
do it.
out.
This is a good idea.
The top brass wants Fred out. He's been fighting for his life in the interviews. First, suggesting that the top brass needs to get kicked out. Second, he said something else, I forgot. But he's fighting for his life to be keep trying to keep his job. I don't think firing Fred is the answer, but I do think there needs to be major changes in the team. Whether that means changing the structure or something, but it's almost when James Vowles went to Williams, he changed so much, the systems, the apparatus. He's let's stop using
But he was
sticky
starting
notes
from so much further back. They were everyone else has specific logistics software, and Williams was using Excel.
So that's what I mean, though. There needs to be big changes.
There's more gains.
Oh, I see.
There's low-hanging fruit that James Vowles could have cleared quickly.
Okay, that's probably true. Ferrari can build a fast car. We've seen it. They know how to do that. they need the winning, like the apparatus needs to be there too. They can make the fast car. This is so frustrating. Why
I'm
did
going
I
to Google
ever start
something.
watching
I read
this
something
sport?
on Facebook. Ferrari subsidiary. I read
It's
something on Facebook, which I'm
It's
like,
not.
is it
It's not an
nonsense?
episode of Slow Pit Stop if Arafat doesn't Google something in the middle
Doesn't
of it.
Google something. Yeah.
I'm okay with that. We can run interference. Here's something I want to talk about before I forget. How lame is it that people are retiring cars so that they can spare the health of the PUs? Like, doesn't that tell you the rules need to be changed?
So
if at this
my
point,
two interpretations of this. One is Liam Lawson just doing so badly right now that they were like, "You're not worth the engine. Just retire." Right? There's your interpretation, which is the regulations are insane. We need to let people maybe have another engine in there so they can actually race like flat out across the season and not have to do these bizarre strategy things. Or where they're like, God, this kid, let's just save the engine because he's just not. Maybe he'll crash something. There's these stories going around on like not major websites but minor websites about Rosberg suggesting Ferrari could open a satellite center in the UK to try and attract staff from other teams, because the majority of the other teams are based in the UK. They move around between teams and they're like, hey, I learned this at Aston Martin, hey, I learned this at Red Bull, and they move around, but because they're all near each other physically. But Ferrari is in Italy, so it's very hard to get people to be like, I'm going to move my kids out of school to a country where they speak a different language. Like, that's not going to happen. So Rosberg was saying, hey, I'm hearing rumors they're going to open up a satellite center in the way, what are they called now? Minardi.
Yeah.
Oh, V-Carb.
Minardi. I refuse to.
Yeah, V-Carb, Minardi, whoever they are. They're based in Italy, but they have staff in the UK. So they have like a satellite center in the UK. Maybe Ferrari will do the same.
They need that. They need it. It's the next step.
Because it will let them take the best from other places.
Yeah. And they can.
It'll
they
let
can
them
afford
take
it.
knowledge and intellectual property from other teams.
Arguably, they could have had Adrian Newey if they had something like that,
Yeah. And he could have headed up that department. He could have been like, hey, you're in charge of the satellite department in the UK. You're in charge of aerodynamics and research and future car or whatever. At Maranello, we'll do manufacturing, something. I don't know. You do design.
Make it Brackley. Which one? Brickstone is the engine place, right? So that can be Italy, and Brackley can be their satellite location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to care so much about Mercedes.
Engine design in Italy.
I can't believe how hard I've fallen off the Mercedes train, you guys. Like, I remember when Lewis announced the switch, I was like, oh, how am I gonna cope? How am I gonna root against?
I had that with McLaren. 2013, I had that with McLaren. I genuinely went, am I still a Lewis fan or a McLaren fan?
This is where I am right now. Assuming that my prediction comes true. Like, I don't know.
You're gonna buy the Mercedes kit, man. You're gonna be so happy for it too when it happens.
The teal is really nice. I find the teal very fetching.
I miss the hats, man.
I still can't...
The Ferrari hats are boring.
Oh my god, the Mercedes hats are top tier. Like, it's not even close. The only one that's even like comparable is the like iridescent pink A on the Alpine. Looks like really dope. But
V-Carb has really nice merch too.
Then you have bigger questions to ask yourself.
Really dope.
V-Carb, I think, has the next best merch.
Really dope. Just like
what's wrong with that?
It looks really dope.
I don't know what's wrong with Arafat. This British supremacy. They think they're the best in the world.
I've stuck with all my American sayings, and so no matter where I am, Canada, UK, I'm always...
What are you talking about?
You guys think you're the greatest thing in the world. The greatest thing in the world is America. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to let this red, white, and blue thing happen here, because Canadians, we know we're not cool, and we're totally fine with that, eh?
Canada is like the best of both worlds. It's got the best of the American culture, and it's got the best of the British culture too. It's like this weird, like in between magic.
I think the real competition is Canada, Australia.
But Australia gets nothing from America, except I think they use miles. What do they get from us?
A lot of culture they get from America because they're close to America from the other side.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of culture, TV, movies, all of that from America, and they have a lot of UK stuff because they were a colony. So they're a mishmash of UK and US culture as well.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I've
Yeah,
never met
okay.
an Australian person in my life, so I didn't know that.
What?
They don't come out this far, you guys.
So you haven't backpacked through
Yeah,
Europe,
because they're
is
all
what
in
you're
LA.
telling me.
They're not going to come to New York.
No,
maybe.
that means he hasn't done a European backpacking thing because hostels
No, I've
are
never
basically
backpacked
just...
through Europe. Who do I
Yeah,
look
there
like?
we go. Because if you're at a hostel and you see a man with an acoustic guitar and white dreads, then that person is Australian.
Yeah. You need to... Do you know what you need to do? You need to book yourself a holiday to Bali, and you will meet all the Australians.
That's
I
right.
That's
just-
where they all
listen,
live.
I
Who
have a
somehow
gripe
stayed.
about Bali. I have a gripe
Yeah.
about Bali, but I don't know if it's appropriate for a Formula One themed podcast. So maybe I'll talk about it later. But
Also,
I have gripes
Bali
about
is so delicious and so wonderful. Like I can't even imagine where you're going with this.
Give us your gripe about Bali, and then we'll go to bed.
Well,
Oh, he's frozen again.
yeah.
No,
well,
I'm back.
There you go.
I'm back.
So sad.
This time
Maybe
I
that's
actually
his gripe
froze.
with
I didn't
Bali.
die.
It gives him poor internet connection. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, the internet's trying to censor you from what was
What's
now
your beef
like
with Bali?
irresistible.
All right, I'll
tease.
say it, but if I can't say it, I will actually offend people. I will cross a line with my gripe of Bali.
Okay,
so let's move on.
I'll give you a gripe too. Okay, fine.
Any closing statements from
Yeah,
anyone?
my closing statement is we're doing an OVO thing now, and like, what is the deal with that? That's Drake's
Oh
brand.
my
for
god,
Red Bull.
man!
You
Why
bet
did he
against
do that?
us.
What?
You bet against us and put all your money on
Why?
Charles multiple times. Like now you're a Red Bull fan. Give me a break, dude. Come
I
on.
know that was so annoying. I can't believe that.
I just saw him
really
at a
don't like
restaurant a few months ago. Like
Drake.
he's still a Toronto guy, but like,
What? Where did you
bro,
see
you
him?
have to stand for something. That's at a steakhouse.
Wow.
But like,
did you say hi?
No.
Did he see our kit and he was like, you know what? I like that.
I'm sure I could have
Put my
said
name
hi
there.
to his security
You
guard,
did
but like,
this.
yeah, was I in kit though? That's totally possible.
You strike me as a Max Verstappen type that you just wear your kit anytime you go out.
There was a year, I think it was 2023, where I just cycled through every Honda era Red Bull kit and almost wore nothing else. But that is seldom the case now.
Do you show up in
There-
before you change into your scrubs? Do you show up in kit to the hospital?
No, I did a couple
Mm.
of times specifically to contrast with my Italian, like my Ferrari wearing colleagues kit.
I
That's
wear
so
my
good.
Took it
scrubs
very well.
before I go,
See, we're
to
not
work,
allowed. You have to change
and then I put my
there.
Mercedes jacket over it.
Yeah. I do still have the Red Bull jacket. That's like that thing gets the biggest use because the internal pockets are so huge.
Mm.
Like it's
Yeah.
just such a win. No, but this like
It's
the
like a
color, the fit, like the Red Bull kit is like a man corset. Like it's hard to look bad in it, so I do like that a lot.
Who is their
But
like
I'm not gonna get
fashion
the OVO
person?
stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, don't do that. That's so
Who-
cringe. Why
who-
did Drake do this
Yeah, who makes our clothes?
for Red Bull? Do you know, Adam?
You're
Who
wearing
makes it?
them.
It's
Look at your
Castor.
label.
It's Castor.
Castor.
Mhm.
Oh, but Castor, isn't that a oil brand?
No, it's like
Yeah.
a pan sport thing, is it?
I thought Castor Oil.
No, castor oil. No, come on, dude. No, it's just
That's
like
Castrol.
it's like a pan sport brand thing, and like you see it with tons of other teams.
Like
So all my
me.
Glasgow Rangers stuff has it too.
Oh my
You're like,
god!
no,
I've just
no, come on.
No, tell us.
I've just googled them. So it says J Carter Sporting Club Limited, operating as Castor, is a British manufacturer of sportswear and athletic clothing, headquartered in Manchester.
Ooh, that's wow. Or if I go see what they're like.
Yeah, I'll go find them.
Yeah.
I'll go stand outside and be like, "Hello, can I have free stuff?"
Something like that happened to me
Headquarters
once.
Manchester.
Yeah.
What? Where did you get free stuff from?
No, it was like the wheel lock on my Mazda was rusted shut, so I needed a new key to open it. So I contacted Mazda, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna have our national dealer ship it to you." And it was getting shipped from a city called Orchard Park, which, if you know anything about the NFL, it's where the Buffalo Bills play. And I was like, "What, Orchard Park? That's like 40 minutes from where I live." And that was the national center of parts for Mazda in America. And I was just so shocked.
Nice.
Yeah. That, again, is not Formula 1 related. Anything else we need to talk about for this race?
Lance Stroll did great.
Where did he finish?
Lance Stroll.
Did he
Where did
finish?
There's also something I talked about with Chris from sales and tech support. He asked, like, hey, if you're Canadian, like a true Canadian, do we still rep Stroll or not? And we like discussed what we're gonna do going forward. And he was
Well, he was Canadian.
we
The
were
guy on the
saying like
phone.
we don't really mind. Yeah, like we don't really mind if he does well. We just don't have any faith that he will. Like it would be super cool to have it happen. Like I do feel sort of like an innate kinship when he speaks in interviews and he uses all our dumb slang and just sounds so folksy and cringe like we all do. It's great. It's just that I can't hold my breath for it.
That's how I felt about Logan Sargent. I used to get so excited when he'd talk in interviews with his American accent. He'd be like, yeah, I'm from Florida. My name is Brad. I used to love that. But I just never had faith for him to ever finish in the points or do anything. So I wouldn't really watch him in the race. But I'd love having him on the grid. So I kind of get the feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Austria's going to be hot, so it's going to be another absolute McLaren blowout. So
I'm going to claim Oscar since he's Australian. Since he's Australian and that means he's half American, I'm claiming him for the grid. Oscar Piastri.
Okay, you do that.
Cool, man. Yeah, now that you know that the Americans of Oceania, you have to rep him.
All right, here's my question to you guys.
Liam? Oh my gosh.
Do you know what Australia is? It's Europe's Florida.
It's the America of Oceania, and New Zealand is so
Which
Canada.
is Europe's Florida. It's the same thing.
Canada. Like we are absolutely as lame as New Zealand, but also pleasant. So
guys,
I guess
I have a question before we finish. I have a question.
Okay.
Does this race break Lando Norris? And is he now depressed and he never comes back?
Yes. I can't believe we didn't touch on that. He is psychologically shattered and can never recover from this. This was the moment historians will point to.
So harsh.
No, I think so.
As an objective measure, how many races does Lando Norris win between now and the end of the season?
Oh, that's tough.
5.
I think he might even win this weekend. Like I think he might win Austria.
Wait, I forgot we have a race this week.
Yeah, next weekend, whatever.
Yeah.
The next one.
Yeah. I think he wins 5.
I'm gonna say 3.
Ooh.
Mohammed, I won't remember that I've said this, so you keep a tally of this.
Yeah.
And let us know.
Guys, I'm so mad that there's only been 4 race winners, and it's Piastri and Lando, Verstappen, who I will accede, but George Russell is the 4th one. That makes me so mad.
It's painful. Did Adam guess how many races Lando will win?
No, I'm gonna say 3.
I said that.
Did you? Okay, 4.
Pick something else.
4.
Fine.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. Right. Mohammed, keep a tally of it and let us know.
I actually wanted 4 initially, and then I questioned myself and was like, did I pick that because his number is 4? By the way, why can't I find his Monster Energy drink anywhere? I really want to try it. And then I got like totally glazed over on the screen. Why can't I find his drink?
This guy. So many random things. The history of this bottle maker from Italy goes back to 1822.
Since 1959.
When was that company established?
1959.
1959.
I no longer have the visual acuity to tell you which part of Italy it's from. Don't do radiology, guys. You don't have any vision at the end of your career.
Fair enough. Should we call it a night then?
But it's going to be awesome.
Bye, everyone. Have fun.
Long live the Goat Summoner.